Low test scores, reliance on devices, AI, short attention spans. What research tells us for helping children in today's digital age. This is Smart Parents, Smart Kids. As the actor said to the agent, "Give me something, will you?" "All right, I'll give you something. Something from very far away. It's a heck of a hike, but we're gonna go there anyway." How does Singapore sound? Why Singapore? And where is it? It's in Southeast Asia. If you know where Malaysia is, you can't miss it. See? It's right there, right where they put it. So why are we going there? Two reasons. First, they're the country that produces the world's highest math scores. And two, Chapter 12 of the book Early Childhood Development and Education in Singapore, published in 2022 by Springer. I want to tell you about that chapter, the development of early arithmetic skills, what, when, and how. It's very interesting, and it's valuable to parents, teachers too, and anyone who cares about education. Why is it that Singapore ranks number 1 in math, while the USA is 26th? 26th with record low high school math and reading scores. Chapter 12 begins with the obvious. Arithmetic skills, the ability to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, are the building blocks of mathematics. There they take that seriously. Here in America, we've got our problems. Did you see that story about the stunning report last month from the University of California, San Diego Senate Administration Work Group on Admissions? It said that over 87% of their students who took a mathematics assessment couldn't do the simplest high school math, and 13% of them couldn't do first grade arithmetic. University students, and they can't do first grade work. Why does the United States of America condone this? I'm sorry, that's politics. This show isn't about that. So, after that embarrassing report, you know what the National Education Association stepped up with? They held an advancing LGBTQ+ justice event where they presented the latest terms in U.S. education. And here they are. The terms are neopronouns and zeopronouns. Neopronouns are the latest must-know cool thing. Z, zem, and zir, all spelled with an X, of course. While zeopronouns are for, quote, conceptual identities like cat, cats, and cat self. Just what we need. Gibberish words to promote nonsense, while our nation's math and reading scores are at record lows. So now, Singapore, where they're serious, connect with parents, and kick our rear ends. What can we learn from them, and what can you parents out there take away that can help you advance your children? It didn't surprise me that this chapter, written by 3 professors from Nanyang Technological University and another from Macquarie University in Australia, covered the importance of executive function. They get it, and what they wrote is interesting. They noted that executive function has been shown to affect the acquisition and development of arithmetical knowledge. That's very cool. Math can help build executive function skills, and executive function can help build math skills. And executive function skills also boost learning in other subjects. I also found it interesting that the authors explained executive function with math-related definitions. That's also cool. Executive function, they explained, is the ability to alternate between different sets of mental operations, resisting interference from competing information, and the ability to refresh and maintain information in working memory. Very mathematical. The chapter points out that children entering kindergarten have problems with number words, even when using their fingers to solve addition and subtraction problems. This is something I think parents need to understand. Words are not numbers, and numbers aren't the same as the display of objects representing a numeric value. I can tell you from years of experience testing my math program that integrating all 3, words, numbers, and representations is the best way to teach math to children 3 to 5 years old. And I want to point this out. The American Psychological Association wrote that children who count on their fingers between the ages of 4 and 6.5 have better addition skills by age 7 than those who don't use their fingers. Fingers are useful, you know. And why do you think we use base 10 numeracy? We got 10 fingers. There's even an incredibly popular abacus that mimics the human hand. Very cool, but that's another story. Bottom line, Singapore knows how to integrate numbers, number words, and representations of numbers. It's key in early math education. Earlier, I mentioned the country's commitment to math education. Here are some of the different things they do over there. First, they provide all childcare providers with a framework they can customize for learning pre-academic skills in numeracy, literacy, problem-solving skills, and creativity. The government also holds public workshops where they share basic research in developmental psychology and numeracy. And they do outreach and document distribution on how to provide instruction to develop children's numerical thinking. In Singapore, the government also provides parents resources and tips on supporting children's education, including managing exam stress and blended learning. They also make available to parents their detailed mathematics syllabus for grades 1 through 6. The chapter on early childhood development and education in Singapore also says a good deal about math anxiety, and that's a very significant issue. It's huge in the United States, even among adults. I've seen it reported in American publications going back several years. I know Bill Gates has talked about it. And the chapter's authors nail it when they stress that it's important for students to master basic math facts. In the USA, with 61% of our fourth graders not proficient in math, and that's using calculators, it's pretty obvious that that's not happening. The authors say we cannot simply equate math anxiety with poor math abilities. Instead, and I think this is cool, they suggest that working memory, that's that executive function again, may play a mediating role between math performance and math anxiety. You remember, working memory. It allows us to store and manipulate information temporarily. What they're getting at is a child who is anxious about doing a math problem will have reduced working memory resources for doing that problem. It makes sense, and it is an example why parents should engage in exercises with their children that boost executive function and math skills too. I provided exercises back in episode 2. Unsurprisingly, in Singapore, they teach differently too. Here's one way they tackle the math anxiety issue. They enhance teacher training programs to focus on how to teach math versus math concepts themselves. There, when a young child makes a counting error, the teacher assesses whether the issue is procedural or conceptual understanding. She will ask the student another question to identify procedural or conceptual and then address it. A procedural error is a mistake in the rote steps, the algorithm. A conceptual error is not understanding the underlying principles. It's more work, but it's smart. I want to explain this for you. Let's take, for example, 15 plus 23. Math itself, the procedural, is the algorithm to solve the problem. The math concept, on the other hand, is the why, the understanding behind the procedure. For instance, in our 15 plus 23 example, we're adding 1 10 plus 2 10s and 5 1s plus 3 1s. That explanation would provide the concept. I want to give you parents out there some quality math activities from Singapore. You can make sock puppets. I remember doing that when I was a young kid. Have a puppet count or count a sequence or do a simple addition or subtraction problem and make a mistake. You want your child to identify the mistake. Then have your child correct the mistake. This teaches young kids to think about numbers, number relations, and simple arithmetic. Here's another one. Make cards with different numbers on them. 1, 2, or 3 digits, depending on what your child could handle. Lay out 4 cards. Ask them to choose the card with the number you called out. Then ask, what would the number be if you added 1 or 2 or another small number? This helps their number, word, and arithmetic understanding. And of course, ask them to count things in everyday life. How many items? How many people in line? How many times have I told you? No, not that one. Let's finish up talking about this show for a moment. Of course, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and all that jazz. For me, in America, it's important that this be a success. When I first thought to start SPSK, I made an episode list. I ditched the list this week because I know this show will be changing very soon. I expect to bring on an MD neurologist in late January. He's well published and really, really smart. You're going to like him. Together, we're going to be covering important topics that parents aren't typically informed about. Topics that matter in children's academic success. For instance, cognitive offloading, attention deficit, math anxiety, implications of social economic status, important stuff. I'm not kidding when I say if you're a parent, an educator, or a politician, you should be watching this show. Also, I'm transforming my math program to an all-out cognitive development guide for parents. So no more math program. But you can still become an SPSK member at ko-fi.com/watchspsk. It's a sad fact that too many administrators just don't care about results. If they did, scores wouldn't be in the tank like they are, and they wouldn't have rejected my free nonprofit program that advanced at-risk students ahead of grade level when it was offered to them. And they don't care about neuroscience either. That's why I'm speaking to you parents out there. You want to hear something remarkable? This really surprised me. That math program I developed for 4 to 6-year-olds boosted executive function enough that I reworked it to help boost function in stroke patients. That work led to a gerontologist suggesting I work on an intervention for dementia. I'm doing that too. Frontotemporal dementia and Alzheimer's. That work, just like so many years of my other work, is financially unsupported. This weekly show, Smart Parents, Smart Kids, and my cognitive development/education initiative are all about our children and our country's future. And it would be nice if there was a school system, a company, a funding organization, or a national media outlet that would welcome this important work and diligent effort to improve outcomes and change lives. That's what I want for Christmas. People to care. We've got a serious crisis on our hands, and this is a sincere, evidence-based effort to help remedy it. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope that the holiday and the new year bring joy, success, and happiness for all. Peace.